Jason Grima, celebrity trainer and body transformation coach in Dubai. Welcome to Success Decoded.
Thanks for having me.
Jason, so you have been a coach in Dubai. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Alrighty, so I've been a coach for over 15 years now.
Wow.
I've been in Dubai for 8 years.
Okay.
And I first came out with a body transformation studio. So they brought me out when they first opened their facility here in Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
And then after 6 months, I realized that I wanted to take a different approach to health and wellness and went out on my own and channeled things a little bit differently and created what we call now the 365, which you're a part of.
Yeah, which I'm a part of. By the way, I've been part of your team now for about 3 months. I'm doing a bridal transformation.
Yes.
And I'm not just saying this, it's been the best decision I have made. I am leaner, I'm stronger. I know we still have a few months to go for the transformation.
We have a long way to
go.
I keep trying to remind Maz
Tough
that
crowd.
we have a long way to go. She's doing amazing, but I don't want her to get too excited too soon.
So we still have a few months for the wedding. So we are going to talk about bridal transformations or body transformations in particular. But what does a body transformation coach do?
Okay, so a body transformation coach would typically help somebody transform their body, as it sounds. Mm-hmm. Now, it's a lot more than that. So it's not as simple as just transforming the body, because quite often there's so many other external factors that are important to a body transformation. Yeah. And a lot of that revolves around like lifestyle. So making sure that we actually make changes with our lifestyle. Mm-hmm. Typically, you'll see someone change their body and be unable to sustain it. So what I like to reference myself and my team as is like, we're body transformation specialists, but we're also like lifestyle transformation specialists. So the idea is that we're helping you restructure potentially the negative areas of your lifestyle that are not allowing you to have the body that you want into a more positive light or a more sustainable light that you can keep up with, that allows you to keep the body you want and live the way you enjoy.
Why do you think it's so hard everybody seems to know that you have to eat less or eat within a calorie deficit if you want to lose weight and you want to work out. Why do you think it's so hard for people to do it?
I think it's education. Like, not enough people know. Like, you know what's crazy? The amount of people that I work with that are 30s plus, that have no idea about calories, macronutrients, protein, fats, carbs, all of the most, like, I would say essential things for a human to, one, have ideal cognitive function, like mental focus, to have a physical body performance or physical performance, and to actually alter their body the way they want. We're getting to 30s, 40s before we start to realize the importance of actually understanding this. And I think it comes down to education. And I've said this before on a few other talk shows and whatnot, is the importance of trying to get that into our education system. Maybe today's not the day to push that agenda, but I feel like we should be learning this at school. And that allows you to then grow up understanding these points and not having to wait till we're 30 and going, oh gosh, like, how did I end up here? And then relying on me to teach you, while you've got so many other things in your life to focus on as well. Yeah.
Do you think our parents' generation, like some of the things I think about that were in my lunchbox at school, questionable. I mean, at home we would have, for example, organic food or home cooked meals. But in my lunchbox, now when I think about it, I'm like, none of those things are potentially, like poppers.
What did you have? Because I'm trying to think back, like what was in there?
Like poppers, juice poppers, juice probably box. All fake juice now that I know, probably full of sugar. There would be like those roll-ups.
Yeah, I was literally going to say, you were in Oz, right? Everyone had a roll-up in their lunchbox. They said it was fruits, but it was sugar.
It's all sugar.
It was literally sugar.
Nutella sandwiches.
Yes.
You know, everybody had Nutella sandwiches or cheese sandwiches. And it would depends whether my mom or my dad would actually make the lunchbox, but my dad would make it easy. Sausage rolls, like,
nice. I mean, it definitely starts there. Like, I probably was the kid that you never wanted to switch lunch with. So, you know, some kids would have different items and you'd say, hey, do you want to trade the chips for the roll up?
Yeah.
I had a tuna sandwich every single day.
Right.
No one ever wanted to switch with me. So my mom was actually very different to that. My mum, which was lucky for her, she didn't have to work, which means she had a bit more time to actually prepare my lunch.
Yes.
So I had a tuna sandwich, I had a piece of fruit, I had nuts, I had a little box of raisins.
Sounds like my diet now.
I had the worst lunch as a kid ever, and probably how I end up in this profession, honestly.
Wow.
But you're right. I remember kids also their parents would stop at the bakery and just say, hey, pick 3 things.
Yeah.
And then they'd rock up with the bakery bag of a finger bun, a little meringue or a lamington, and that would be their their lunch for the day. So yeah, we're not educated the right way. And this is why we're seeing a really high rate of child obesity, particularly here in the UAE. I think it is something that we are dealing with quite seriously, but we're also we've got the right tools in place to try and start to help that as well.
Even chocolate milks, for example, you have this perception of that it's dairy, it's milk, it's for your bones, but actually it's all sugar.
Yeah, they always pull that, like it's good for calcium. I mean, look, at the end of the day, we don't want to, there's also finding that fine line between, as we're growing up as kids, we don't want to create negative relationships with food.
Yeah.
So the worst thing we can do, and sometimes I work with parents who are trying to avoid their kids touching any sugar. And I'm like, ultimately, you're going to really create some complexes down the line if you're trying to deter your child from having any sugar at this age. In today's society, it's almost impossible. So we need to be educating about balance, and I think that's everything that we stand for at 365. I think we're kind of there with you now. Like, are you feeling there's a little bit of balance?
100%. I mean, honestly, for me, the reality is I've always had a weird relationship with food. For a while, I did go gluten-free. I went completely dairy-free, grain-free, and I feel like that was the gluten-free thing was a little bit more toxic for my mindset because everything was like, I'd stay away. But now in the last couple of months I was just telling someone earlier, one of my colleagues, that my relationship with food, thanks to you guys, has completely changed, because when you're on your own, when you're making those decisions, it's not like your trainer's there to guide you through all of it. It's more of a mindset, right?
Yes.
You know?
Definitely. It's about you having the tools to make the right decisions. It's like, my job is to give you the education to make informed decisions. Sadly, a lot of people will work with coaches and get to the end of, a 12-week transformation and still have no real understanding of like nutrition or anything really. And as soon as the trainer disappears or life circumstances get in the way, it's kind of like, oh, what do I do? I have no idea. So we want to provide you with the tools. And I think you've been really good at actually trying to learn, because you've done a lot of like self-development on different diets, different food groups.
I've tried everything.
Yeah, I feel like you have. And I think that creates it means you're somebody that's more open to change, which allows this process to potentially be like beneficial for you as well.
And I feel like we get, with food, especially online, we get so many different messaging, right? Like, it's like one group says you should have green things all the time, like kale all the time. Then another group says, no, you should be vegan. Another group says you should only have meats, meat, butter. You see some crazy things on TikTok. Like, there's a girl on TikTok that has blocks of butter and steak. And her skin looks great. So then it makes people want to try that. So what are your thoughts on like different food groups?
So there's so many different fad diets, and over the years we've seen them come into light: carnivore diet, ketogenic diet, the Atkins diet, no carbs, this and that. I think for a lot of the time, obviously we need to be careful with what we absorb on social media, because you're only seeing like a percentage of what that person actually does. So she might be showcasing that she's doing this, but then off camera she's eating a bag of chips and going to town and all the things that obviously she's missing. Or maybe she isn't. But is what she's educating or preaching sustainable for you and your lifestyle? Is it in line with your beliefs? And a lot of the time people will pry on people who want like a fat loss at goal, and without realizing all of these different fads actually have one main thing in common, which is like a calorie deficit, or a deficit in intake or energy we absorb. So all of those things, despite whether it's low carb, ketogenic diet, grass-fed butter and beef, whatever, all of those are going to be making sure that our calories are significantly lower than we might do on our own. And so I think we've got to kind of block out the noise a little bit. And that's where, if you get in touch with, if you follow experts, there's a lot of them out there. If you work with an expert, they can help you find out what works for you. So my job as a coach isn't to reinvent the wheel. The worst thing I can do is try to make up a diet for you and say, hey, Maz, try our specialized 365 special diet, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, no, these are things that work. What can I make work for you? And that's how our coaching relationship works. And that's how you're going to get the results. So yeah, it's a tricky one, right? There's so much out there.
And you guys have had some pretty amazing results from different clients, right?
Yeah. We've worked with like so many different people, different age groups, children, obviously the elderly as well. Our main demographics between the 25-45 mark. So people finding their feet in life or going through the motions with kids and busy jobs and careers and stuff like this. So for us, it's a lot more about finding ways to be sustainable and to allow balance. Like everyone's in Dubai, right? There's so much temptation around nice restaurants. You know all about that. Food.
I go to all of them.
This is a big problem at the moment.
You stalk me on social media. You're like, Maz, why are you at another restaurant? Are you following the plan?
Exactly. So there's so much temptation. So the worst thing I can do is just tell you, do not go into any restaurant. Don't leave your house. Only eat this. So for us, it's just about finding like what's your goal, what's your timeline, and how aggressive can we be in order for you to actually enjoy the process, but still elicit some sort of change.
So you mentioned you train kids as well.
Yeah, we train kids. We've worked with a lot of, my background is also in like football. So I worked with a lot of kids over the years between the ages of 4 to 12 in like youth development stuff. And we did a lot of seminars around like nutrition and that kind of thing. We worked with the parents. But yeah, I think working with kids is a really important, it's very different. It's nowhere near the same as adults, obviously, but it's rewarding when you start to, when you can see, and I think we posted some transformations recently. I had 2 young men now, but when I started with them, they were teenagers. Both of them were gamers, not into fitness at all. I had the kind of tricky job of trying to showcase them why it's beneficial. They had to, they had peer pressure around different foods and this and that. And eventually now we've got them both in a place where one's went to business management school, left, and now wants to be a trainer. So we were able to influence him enough that he now wants to go down the fitness career path.
Okay.
And one of my other clients who just finished his transformation with us, lost 20 kilos and now, he used to eat cereal all night, and now he's educating his peers in his class on the right foods to have. So for me, like if you can educate like our youth, hopefully society will be a lot healthier in time to come, but we'll find out.
So what advice would you give to a parent now if they have a gaming son or a daughter who doesn't really like any sort of exercise or movement?
Yeah, that's a good one. So I think the biggest thing is to not pressure them. So the worst thing you can do is like pressure them into change, but you want to showcase different options of health or wellness or fitness and let them kind of dabble. So the best place to start with most kids is like social sport. Say, hey, why don't you get 4 of your mates together and go play a game of paddle? Now that's trending at the moment. Go play paddle tennis. Let them go and have a little play, a little sweat. And then say, hey, after the workout, why don't you just have a protein shake? Or let's make sure dinner's good tonight so you play better tomorrow when you're with your mates. So then they'll kind of go, they'll put 2 and 2 and go, if I have a better, healthier dinner tonight, not my cereal, and I go to bed a bit earlier, maybe I'll play better when I'm with my friends tomorrow. And if it's not paddle, it might be swimming, it might be soccer, it might be something like that. But you don't need to put them on these vigorous gym regimes or diets for now, but just showcase them how fun fitness can be. And they should, and eventually they will start to find their feet. So I would say just don't pressure, but give them options to kind of dabble here and there and see what sticks.
I always get impressed when I see kids at the gym because I just think good parents. Them pushing the heavy, I don't know what you call it, but the little wheel thing.
Yeah, the sled.
The sleds.
Sled push, yeah.
Yeah,
it's funny. I love that. Okay, I love that. I'm going to throw some parents under the bus. I love when I see the kids in the gym and the parents in the car. I always walk past, I'm like, get out, go and walk on the treadmill. Like, don't sit in there and they're just eating or whatever. I was like, get up.
Or they're on the phone.
I was like, come on, walk and like do your session at the same time. But no, it is good. Like obviously any child that's getting into exercise is a great place to be.
So let's talk about Ozempic, Mounjaro, Wegovy.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on those drugs?
Cool. I love that. We briefed this, didn't we?
Yeah.
So this is a really big topic at the moment globally. I think it's massive in Dubai, in this region, obviously. And I think the biggest thing, obviously, with anything like this is it has been designed for a set purpose, which is not what it's being used for. So it was set, obviously, to work with blood sugar, people that were extremely overweight, some diabetes patients, insulin-based patients, and it was very effective. And basically, I don't know actually the story of how it happened to get into the hands of just an average Joe, and they said, wow, this could be the next weight loss drug. But basically what's happened now is people are using it to get extreme amounts of weight loss. Now, unfortunately, it also drops extreme amounts of muscle tissue. Now, so much that we do in life that will help us with longevity, postural correction, being able to have lower fats, keep our hormones in check, all relies on our body's ratio of muscle to fat. Now, most people have a higher fat to muscle ratio, okay? My job as a coach is to help people get a higher muscle to fat ratio. That doesn't mean they need to be muscly or look like a bodybuilder or muscular or anything like that.
Okay.
It just means that in their body frame, there needs to be less fat and more muscle. Because with that, we're going to be generally a stronger person, less likely to get injured.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to go through pregnancy as a woman, obviously you'd be more capable of your body going through this extreme, you know, life change. And obviously keeps you balanced, your hormones in check. So the problem with something like Manjaro is it just destroys muscle tissue. So everything that you're really working so hard to build, and it is the harder thing, it's harder to build muscle than burn fat. So people are so obsessed with just dropping weight on the scales that at the same time they're compromising so much valuable muscle tissue.
Yeah.
And they're ending up in like this like sickening, like skinny, weak state. And unfortunately, a lot of the side effects that they experience, which is like nausea, diarrhea, anxiety, panic attacks, the list literally goes on.
Yeah.
They're usually experiencing those in the dark or behind closed doors. So what everyone else is seeing is, wow, you've lost 20, 30 kilos. And they're like, yeah, I feel great. I never fit into this shirt. I do now. Like, how good do I look? But then behind closed doors, there's so many other side effects that are going on. And this is why, like, I'm not an advocate for it. I've worked with people who have taken it.
Yeah.
And when people make decisions like that, I have to just do the best that I can to help them. So for me, it was like, all right, we need to double down on your strength training to make sure we're trying not to lose much tissue.
Yeah.
But you can't fight something that powerful, and it really is effective at what it does. So, so that's kind of my thought on it. You know, how often do you think you have conversations with people out and about it? Is it a trending topic? Because you're in the social
Absolutely.
setting.
I mean, let's be honest. I even said to you at one point, can I have a little injection before the wedding? I was like, just a little, like, just maybe like 1 or 2.
And it's not even wrong for you to ask because it's such like a dinner table topic.
Yeah.
Like it is that normal today that it's not even seen as like something that's wrong. So it's normal for you. And it's funny that people are speaking to you about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And also it's not really done under any sort of supervision. So you can just go to the pharmacy, get whatever dose you want and do whatever you want with it. But no one's really, you know, I think you can't have it if you have any thyroid issues or, so it kind of exacerbates everything.
Yeah, it definitely, there's fine print for sure. But it's just, I think it's one of those things, there's no real shortcut, especially when it comes to health and wellness and, you know, health in particular. There is no shortcut to having health. There is no shortcut to building muscle long term, like dense muscle. Obviously, we know steroids and all of this stuff that's out there and that's very commonly consumed, but it's not long term sustainable, dense, viable tissue. And it can come and go. And I think people struggle more with the fact of yo-yoing than they do with probably not even ever having that result.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like if you never actually lost that amount of weight, you'd probably be happier than the person that's constantly yo-yoing. So they knew what they did, but because they took Manjaro, and now they're back up, their weight's up here, and they can't live with themselves. So they take it again, the anxiety goes back up. Then they can't handle the anxiety from the side effects, so they're back up.
Yeah.
This is not a place to be. Unfortunately, so many people are actually in that space.
There is a saying from the 90s that I think Kate Moss said, it was like skinny is pain, but I guess that doesn't work.
Well, isn't that when what was that diet that was trending then? It was like the glass of wine diet.
Oh,
I think that was around
cigarettes,
the same time.
I think.
Cigarettes and wine or something, and it was like you'll lose weight. That was the trend back then.
Yeah, the Arabic version is probably like having shisha and like
shisha and coffee.
Shisha.
Probably. Like literally, like
coffee.
that's all. Yeah, literally all you need. I actually remember one of my uncles told me he lost so much weight, and all he was doing was having literally coffee and cigarettes, and like a manish in the evening before he'd go to bed.
Yeah.
And obviously, again, just the deficit of energy. Like coffee's a great appetite suppressant. Smoking is obviously going to suppress any sort of cravings. But we know both in excessive consumption or cigarettes in general can have so many other side effects. So. And
same with like all of, I think, these shortcuts, like as a woman especially, it drops your collagen in your face. I know Mounjaro, Ozempic, it takes a lot of the collagen from, so it's called, have you heard of this like there's 2 things, Ozempic personality and Ozempic face.
No, tell me.
So Ozempic face is basically people who've had, it's not just Ozempic, it's Mounjaro, Wegovy, all of it, GLP-1 I think it's called. But yeah, people lose a lot of the collagen on their face. So you start looking aged. And Ozempic personality is where you just lose your personality because food is such a big part.
Yeah, so you just have nothing to live for.
You have nothing to live for. So you're actually quite depressed like all the time.
Yeah.
So that's a thing. You mentioned steroids before. Now, I don't know, how common is steroids? I don't know enough about steroids. Is it big in the fitness industry? I mean, what are your thoughts on steroids?
Yeah, it's massive. It's definitely massive in the fitness industry. I think growing up, it was something that only like you'd go to the gym and you'd see like a select few guys. Like this was me growing up. I'd kind of go, "Wow, that guy's like insanely like looks like Arnold." Like in my local gym, I never expected it. How did that kind of happen? You didn't really know much about it. Now it's almost hard pressed to go into any gym. And I would say globally, obviously I moved between here and Oz, but in those experiences, both gym settings seem to have a massive surplus of people with like, a high percentage of muscle tissue. And you can kind of see the shape, or you can kind of tell the character. Some people use it more than others. Some people have been on in the past. And so sometimes their shape is still credit to what they've taken. Look, it's one of those things. Like, I think if I can give one little bit of, I guess saving grace to it, is it still requires discipline, training, and nutrition. Okay. So it is a little bit of like an aid recovery, and it help with your recovery, and it will help with different areas. Yeah. But ultimately, the people that are still taking it generally are still training 7 days a week and following a diet plan and stuff like this. So I think people shouldn't look at it as something that's a fast track, because you can't just take steroids and expect your body to change without still training and following a proper nutrition plan. So I think if you just, if you're ever sort of thinking about this or considering it, just put not you, but put it to the back of your mind for now, and just focus on getting like a consistent training and nutrition plan. That's always going to be the most grounding place. Do you kind of encounter many people on this kind of thing? Or?
Not really. I didn't even realize it was a thing, but I did read that some celebrities, for example, for movies, and they admit to going on. I always thought it was quite taboo, but they admit to going on steroids publicly. Yes. But so is it like the Ozempic of the fitness world? Is it kind of?
I would say so, because if we were to like steroids is a banned substance in a lot of countries and a lot of places, and it is something that you can be in trouble for having or selling or any of that stuff. So for sure it can be it's very much off limits. Whereas Mounjaro still hasn't kind of gotten to that point. Obviously, it's still kind of somewhat over the counter or prescription based. Yeah. You can get steroids prescribed to you through like your sports physio or doctor or endocrinologist, etc., etc. Yeah. But I think the biggest thing to remember is like it's just going to have side effects, and it's just something I think sometimes when people don't know enough about it, that's when we have the big issues. And it's like with Mounjaro, like not enough people actually know about it. They're actually being advised the right way. So they're taking it and experiencing side effects, and they're yo-yoing. Same with steroids. People are taking it, they don't have enough information, and they're yo-yoing. So anything taken with an expert or in moderation that's appropriate for you, each to their own.
I find it's more common now in women also to take steroids, but our hormones are very different to men.
Yeah, definitely. So it is common for women to also be taking substances like this. It does have a lot more side effects in the sense of women have a more critical hormone foundation, which obviously will help with things like regular cycles, obviously the lead up to pregnancy, post-pregnancy, etc. So it can be a lot more risky, and it can have a lot more like long-term sustaining side effects if it's done incorrectly.
So I was talking to a friend of mine earlier. We were talking about fitness, and she said, I just want to look my best. I want to be at my peak body. So what advice would you give to somebody who, I guess, they don't look and feel their best? Like, where do they start?
So, the best place to start with that is kind of understanding where they want to get to. It's kind of like, let's try and really iron out what is that end game for you. What does that look like? From there, I generally would look at working backwards and setting small, like 4-week targets to try to get there. Now, if someone doesn't know where that could even start at all, the best place that I recommend people to start is to just start walking every day. That is literally the most simple bit of advice that I can give everybody that you can do right now that's free, that doesn't require anything, is just allocate 30 minutes per day to go for a walk. That is the first step to getting into a more consciously active and fit mindset.
Does it have to be a fast walk?
I mean, a faster walk is better. Like if you're just like strolling, you're probably not going to sweat as much unless it's in Dubai right now in 40-degree heat. But if you're going for a walk every day, I can guarantee you that you're generally going to start to have more and more conscious thoughts around that this makes you feel good, sweating feels good, you're now conscious of how you're looking and how you're feeling. Are you out of breath? And then you think to yourself, geez, I shouldn't be out of breath from that walk. Well, maybe I should do something a little bit about this. Or maybe my knees are a little bit uncomfortable doing that walk. Maybe I should do something about this. Or I felt really good after that walk. I'm not going to eat that bag of chips today. I think I should have something better for dinner tonight. Something so simple like a walk can help create so many more positive thoughts that then lead to contacting a trainer, taking a gym membership, going to the gym. Like, do you know what I mean? So I think that has to, like, for me, that's the first most easiest step, because I can say, yeah, come to a trainer. But that's sometimes the most overwhelming thing for most people to do. Most people follow me on socials for over a year.
Before they contact.
Before they even send me a DM or contact me and say, hey, I've been following you for a year. I've been too scared to go into the gym. But like now I've seen the people you've worked with, I'm comfortable to come in. I've started walking on my own. I've lost 10 kilos in that year just from watching what you were doing. So people are really scared to like actually approach trainers or actually go into a gym, the large majority. So that's why I'm like, walk. Start with that. If you're hearing this right now, walk. Simple.
So if there's one exercise that you could do for the rest of your life, it would be?
Bench
not
press.
Walking. Okay.
No, I'm joking. No, I mean walking would be the best for
everyone.
For everyone.
Okay.
Yeah. If you ask me, obviously it'd probably be a little bit different. But walking is the most beneficial thing. And generally, if you look in cultures or countries where people actually have a higher rate of like walking, less commute, less traffic, like a lot of European cities or like a little, even in in a lot of Asian countries as well, there's a lot more walking. You'll generally see a more thinner population. And there are so many studies around the correlation between both of those things as well.
And in the blue zones as well, they say the people who live the longest are always the countries and the cities that have the hilliest places, because they walk more.
They're walking everywhere. Yeah, I love that study on that, the blue zone study. It's so true.
Yeah.
And it makes such a big difference.
Let's talk bridal transformations, because I guess I'm going through the bridal transformation now, and a lot of people are interested in transformations in general. But a lot of brides, I mean, when you find out that you're going to get married on a certain date, I mean, what advice do you give? I'm going through this journey now, but like, where do you start as a bride if you want to look your best?
It's go time, right? Like it's like probably the most important moment for a lot of women in their lives to get ready in their best shape in the dress that they've always dreamed of. And it can be so overwhelming, because how many other things do you have on your plate besides your fitness right now?
Oh my gosh, everything. Everything. Life, the wedding, work, relationships, social life, being a wedding planner.
That's right.
Stress,
all the prep for the wedding's
being
crazy.
A bridezilla.
Exactly. So the biggest thing is trying to just block out the noise a little bit around all the externals and to just have a really like grounded, simple structure. I think where people go wrong when they're first starting to prep for their wedding is they kind of try to bite off more than they can chew. Or unfortunately, a lot of people do leave it a little bit too late. So I think you should give yourself a little bit of notice when it comes to obviously getting ready for the wedding. Is try to set yourself, I think the most realistic is at least a 6-month time frame, so that you can have a very like gradual approach like we're having. I think you came to me at the most perfect time, because we're going to basically do the hard stuff now, which you've been doing. We're going to get the hard yards out of the way, so that when we get 2 months out, I'm not saying I will, it depends how good you are. I would like to help you enjoy the last 2 months from like you're going to be a little bit more social. Maybe you might go out for a dinner or a drink here. I'd like you to go to your dress fitting and feel like the dress looks how it's going to look on the day. Like, I don't want to leave those up to chance like 2 weeks out. I'd also like you to, and we spoke about this before off the camera, is not eating just cheese on the day, because you're trying to get, it's because you're not trying to get that last kilo. You better not do that.
I saw on TikTok, and they're obviously not trainers giving advice, other brides giving advice to other brides. And a lot of people are saying, for the last week or two, I was just eating like a block of cheese. Just to keep alive.
Absolutely wild. Biggest mistake you can make as a bride is not giving yourself adequate amounts of calories at least 12 hours before your wedding day. That's a fact. And I would say the one thing you want to avoid is anything that creates any sort of bloating. So any foods that you feel bloat you or make you feel uncomfortable in the stomach is something you want to avoid, because people associate bloating with I've gained 2 kilos. Totally different things. So the likelihood of the point of you dropping 2 kilos on your wedding day is pointless.
Okay.
It really is. Like if you're going to starve yourself, compromise all of your energy just to lose 2 kilos and address that, you probably won't see that change. Makes no sense. What you'll feel is if you're bloated. That's so much worse than trying to drop that 2 kilos. Because if you're bloated, you're going to feel uncomfortable in the dress.
Yeah.
You're going to be feeling conscious that you're looking heavy or feeling heavy. You're going to hold more water. Your face might be more puffy.
Yeah.
So the best thing you can do in that 24 hours is you could do a nice little sauna. Try and just get a little bit of water out. Stay hydrated as much as you can with water or electrolytes.
Yeah.
And have foods that aren't going to bloat you, like lean amounts of protein, salad, vegetables, even a little bit of carbs. That's going to be the best way to prep for your wedding day. No cheese.
No cheese.
No cheese.
So once again, the biggest mistake that brides make before their wedding.
Yes. So that's the biggest mistake. The biggest mistake brides make is eating nothing before their wedding day, because what will happen is you'll be wiped. You won't make it through the photos. You'll be not very, very conscious when you're going through the ceremony.
Yeah.
You won't be able to dance in the after party. And then you'll feel like you didn't even remember the day because you felt sick, nauseous, and the day goes out the window. So feel yourself as if you should be looking at it as a performance. You're an athlete. You're going onto the football pitch. This is game day.
Yes.
Fuel your body the right way. So that's why, in our case, we've got now 6 months. I mean, less now, but we've had a good stint to actually get you into place, and then have a cruisier, more realistic, countdown to the actual day.
Yeah. No, it is. What do you have to say to brides who want to go on Ozempic?
Okay. I mean, that's a tough one.
This must be a term. What do you have to say about Ozempic brides? Because a friend of mine, actually, she said to me, you have plenty of time before. This was like months ago when we locked in the wedding day, before I came to see you. She was like, oh, you have time. I mean, you could do the shortcut before the wedding, but you should probably do it the right way. Yeah. So what do you have to say to Ozempic brides?
I would say nothing's worse than getting into a certain conditioning for your wedding day and then being out of that condition 1 month later. So what I mean is you have all your guests there, all your friends and family, everyone's there. You've dropped 30 kilos from Ozempic, and then 4 weeks later, you've blown out. You've got no control. For a lot of brides, you start to look at pregnancy, which is a really next important chapter. Actually, this is exactly where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
This is the most important next chapter. And a lot of brides I work with, because I have a lot of clients who start with me, and I train a lot of women. They start with me, then they say, hey, I'm getting engaged. Great, we get them in shape for that. Hey, I'm getting married. Great, we get them in shape for that. Hey, I'm pregnant. That's usually the next step. Great, let's prep you for that. I'm pre and postnatal certified, and a lot of my team are. And the most important thing is going, okay, now we have to get you strong, because you're about to go through probably the most physically challenging component of a human's life. Men will never experience that transition, but physically the demand on a woman is so high. Now, if you've just taken Ozempic for 6 months in the lead up to your wedding, you've got zero muscle tissue, you've had no real relationship with food, your mindset and hormones is probably all over the place. You look good for your photo. All right, fine. But then we that's important. But then we start to look at all right, now we're going down the pregnancy road. We're literally starting from square one. You're probably starting off in a worse position than you were previously. We have no muscle on the body. We need to now prepare you to go through a really physically demanding process. And I think you're going to find yourself in a very challenging position. So do it the right way. Don't take shortcuts. Eat well, move more. And I think, it's not to say that it's not achievable. You can do so much naturally, without any sort of assistance.
Is there a way to look more snatched naturally without depriving yourself? Like you mentioned sauna. Snatched,
what's that? Okay, taut.
Yeah, taut. Okay. Your collarbones out. You know what I mean? Your face more and your waist.
Yeah, I think that tightness feeling that a lot of people generally comes down to water retention.
Okay.
And the ways we can naturally reduce water retention is going to be firstly getting good night's sleep. So trying to get above 6 hours sleep consistently, at least in the lead up to the wedding. Now that can be hard sometimes.
Yeah.
The next one's stress. Trying to keep your stress levels moderate. Again, that can be hard in the lead up. So what external factors can we do? Something like a sauna is great. Staying super hydrated with water. You could eat slightly higher sodium based foods. So foods that are a little bit more salty, because generally when we consume salt, it's going to dry us out just a little bit more. Any sort of magazine covers, or if you've seen celebrities in the lead up to certain shots, will kind of water deplete. So they'll have lots of water for a few days prior. Then they'll cut the water out. The body's been used to consuming so much water, so you'll naturally go to the bathroom quite a lot. So your body starts to flush out a lot of the liquid, and then you can increase your sodium intake, which would dry out the body a little bit. Now, it's not the healthiest thing, so I'm not saying go to that extreme, but a combination of like higher sodium foods, drinking more water, using something like a sauna. There's studies around lymphatic draining massages and different types of therapies that can also help with like moving the. You love the power plate, don't you?
Yeah, obsessed with the vibration plate. My best investment from TikTok.
Okay.
It's helped with my I mean, obviously training with you has helped with the cellulite, but like my cellulite is almost non-existent.
It's amazing.
Because I think it mimics a trampoline effect.
Yeah, the vibration plates, like they have a space in time. Like I think people, again, so many things like this that have a really cool purpose get sold to saying they fix everything. And then people like me say bin it.
Yeah.
Because like it's selling you the dream. But really, if you looked at that vibration plate as a way to circulate blood flow, potentially kind of, I guess, rock the boat when it comes to water retention or moving the fluids around the lymphatic system around a little bit, providing blood flow or warmth into the muscles. There are benefits to using that. And I think you're starting to see some of those, so that's great.
You mentioned pre and post certified. What is that?
So pre and post certified means that I'm qualified to work with women prenatal, which is pre-pregnancy. So from from the date they literally week 1, so the date they find out, like they should be informing me as a coach to say, hey, I'm within my 12 weeks. Most people I know most of my clients are pregnant sometimes before the husband. And sometimes, which is always a bit tricky.
Jason,
that's happened before. And sometimes it's definitely before.
They're like, you're never training with Jason again.
And sometimes before the parents.
Wow, because you can just tell.
Well, not that. They tell, like, the woman tells me.
I thought you had some sort of sixth
No.
sense.
Hold on. I'm not no, definitely not. As in, they'll speak to me and say, hey, I've just done a pregnancy test. I'm not gonna, like, I haven't told my husband yet or whatever. Are we okay? Or like, what should I do or whatever? Or I haven't told the big one's my parents. Okay. I haven't told my parents yet because you need to wait for the 12 weeks, right?
Yeah, so that's the safety marker.
Correct. So a lot of people don't want to tell their parents before the safety marker because there's a lot of variables that can happen in our first 1 to 12 weeks. And as a trainer, in that first 12 weeks, I'm very responsible for that time. Because if I say 50 burpees, we're running 5Ks, XYZ, I can cause a lot of serious stress on the body, which can cause in a lot of cases like the risk of miscarriage, defects, etc. The list goes on. Like, and I would be saying no alcohol, cut out your smoking. Like me watching the diet in that time is so essential. So the prenatal side to coaching is so important. Postnatal is a little less risky because you've kind of delivered, we're coming back, unless you've had a C-section, in which case we need to obviously keep an eye on how we train the midsection to rebuild it correctly. It's usually a lot less risky. Once we get doctor's approval, we're good to go.
So you advise women also before they want to get pregnant?
We can do in the lead up to as well. Like in the lead up to, if I have had a client come to me and say, hey, I'm trying, I've heard this, that I shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that. And it's funny because it's one of my clients I work with now, and she said to me, I don't think I can get pregnant doing this type of training. And I said, okay, let's go through. I like to do strength training. That's my bread and butter. So we do a lot of the stuff that we do together. And there was a lot of myths around not doing anything. So a lot of like old school, like let's say South Asian or Arabic doctors, and I'm talking old school practices, are like, don't do any exercise if you're trying to conceive, etc.
Just lay down.
Just do nothing, like, and it will. Yeah, exactly. And so for me, I'm like, no. The healthier and stronger your body is, the more balanced your hormones are for both the man and the woman to be in a more susceptible environment to actually become pregnant or to conceive, etc., is all revolving around your lifestyle and your health and your fitness and your food and stuff like that. So we just said, no, let's train, get you on a diet. And sure enough, falls pregnant. I guided her through the prenatal and then postnatal, and now she's back with me, stronger than before. So
a lot of women go through postnatal depression. Do you sort of guide them through that? And also, what advice would you have for a woman who is going through some sort of postnatal depression?
Okay. So postnatal depression is something obviously quite serious. It generally would fall into the category of like medical, which means I would be heavily being relayed information from the doctor.
Yeah.
So she might have like a therapist or a doctor that they're working with. If I pick it up, I would be obviously advising them to see someone like this. The way that I can help is by using exercise as a way, as like an antidepressant. And this doesn't just go for women who are in prenatal depression. It can go for anyone with depression. Exercise is the number one most natural way to alleviate levels of depression. And that's a fact. And it's been, the studies of that have been proven time and time and time again.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling any form of depression at any point, if you can start doing some form of like moderate exercise, it's the first step. I'm not going to say it'll fix it, certainly won't. In a lot of cases, it will be the first step that you can take to really take some positive changes. So, so that would be the biggest one with postnatal depression.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So what advice do you have, or what would you say to somebody right now who says, I just don't have time to work out. I don't have the time.
I hear that a lot.
You hear a lot.
Are you someone that says that before me?
No, I used to work out. Well, I was, the thing is, I was a little bit chaotic, right? So I would go to like different classes, but I would revolve other things first rather than, cement my training first and be like, other things need to revolve around the training.
That's what I wanted to ask you. I want to hear it from like a non-trainer side. Because when you say, let's say you being the human population and then me being the trainer who lives in the gym, etc. When you would say to me, I don't have time, what do you think that means? Like, what are you saying?
They're not prioritizing fitness.
Yeah, 100%. Like, so for me, it's like, okay, everyone has time. And it's the old analogy, like we have 24 hours in a day. And if we break down the workout, it's only X% of your actual day.
Yeah.
So everyone has time. So I never really buy that. I don't think it's a priority for a lot of people. But I think also people overcomplicate it. Some people find a gym that's 2 hours from their house and then go, I tried driving there, but I was in traffic for 2 hours. I can't do it. Well, why would you go there? The first thing I have when people call me and say, hey, where are you based? Oh, I'm in Sharjah. Okay, well, we're in Al Quoz. What time are you looking at training? Evenings. Okay, well, that's probably a 2-hour drive.
Yeah.
What have you got closer to you? I can offer you a program that you can do in your building gym. Do you have a building gym? Yeah, downstairs. Great. This is a 30-minute workout you can do downstairs. Do it for 4 weeks and then we'll have another call. That is setting someone up for the best way to be introduced to fitness, to take away that excuse. Because people are looking for excuses all the time. And for anything, like it's like goes for anything in life. It's something we don't want to do. We're going to find ways out. Yeah. And for a lot of people, they don't want to get in shape, or they don't want to put their body through any sort of physical challenging regime. Yeah. So it's like, let's simplify it. And so the better I get at that, the less excuses that fall through the cracks. Yeah.
So if a male is looking at you right now, Jason, and they're like, I want to look like Jason. Okay. I want Jason's body. Yeah. How many times a day do you work out, or what are you eating?
Okay. I'm the worst person to go off. Now, the reason I say this, I'll be totally open and transparent. Here's some little gems about me. Okay. I use exercise as anxiety management. Okay. So I obviously put myself in a high pressure position. We're trying to do a lot of things with 365. I'm away from my family. There's a lot of, everyone's got something that they're working through. Yeah. Everyone. People handle that differently. I get a little bit anxious quite easily. Very easily. So I use exercise as a way to help suppress that. Okay. So what this leads to is me actually sometimes over exercising. So when you ask me that, and if anyone's listening to this and they'll say, oh, don't listen to Jason's regime because he trains like 14 times a week, which I do. I almost train twice a day, every day. Is that necessary for a male that's 30 years plus to do? No. You could do 4 strength sessions a week. Okay. Okay. And then 30-minute walk a day and get into phenomenal shape. And I've done that at times where I've just trained 4 days weights, like heavy lifting, structured program where each week you try to progress, and I go for a walk every day. I walk my dogs, but when I didn't have my dogs, I put music in. It was the best 30 minutes. It ended up being 60, sometimes 90. I'd be getting work done. Like if you're a busy male, it goes for females too, but in this case, if you're a busy male and you're trying to get on top of life, go for a walk, get on your phone, do your emails, call your mum, call your friends, call your girlfriend, whatever it is. You can get so much done in that 90-minute walk or that 60-minute walk that can complement your 4 days training, and you can actually get yourself in amazing shape. So I'm not the best guide because I overtrain, but for me, it's like it brings me a little peace and comfort at the end of the day. When I kind of get to bed, I feel relaxed and a little bit more ready to go.
It's kind of refreshing to hear that you're honest about the anxiety, because especially, I mean, June was mental health, the male mental health awareness month. And I think a lot of men just don't accept if they have any sort of anxiety, and they would never look at you and think, hey, he'd get anxious about anything.
That's right. Yeah, it's definitely like a taboo topic. And I think there's a lot of trainers now who are trying to make it more of a comfortable space for men. We are the ones that actually know a lot about the guys that we work with. I've worked with a lot of people going through like literally stage 5 depression, where you're right at the end of the line, and I'm like the last resort. So like for a lot of the times I've been in that supportive role. And I think when you start to see the vulnerability, there's nothing to be ashamed of. And I think so many people go through it, and life today is tricky. Like there's a lot of pressures, there's a lot of expectations, there's a lot of demands, there's a lot of judgment, or like, it's pressure. Always like you're never good enough, and society kind of keeps us kind of chasing a little bit. And I think sometimes we need to try and ground ourselves. So for me, exercise is the most grounding thing I can do. And I'm not afraid to really speak about it, I think, because the thing I've always tried to be very transparent and just honest and fairly genuine with what I do and how my exercise and that kind of stuff. And I think if I can at least influence one person to believe that, I'm not exercising 14 days to stay in shape. I'm exercising 14 times a week, to manage my stress and to kind of feel good about myself. And then, the body is a byproduct of that for me. So like my physique will change as a byproduct of me managing my headspace. If we go the other way around, if you let your headspace go, your body's definitely not in shape. Like there's no way you're going to be in a physical, strong, capable position if your headspace is all over the place. You've done a lot of work with headspace. You're actually better at it than me. Yeah. And I need to probably get coaching from you, because you've done a lot of meditation, sound healing and stuff.
I have.
That's an important thing.
Yeah, I try and keep that in check. And we were talking about this yesterday, actually. I think it was Oprah that said this once, that when something really good happens, I never get too happy. And when something bad happens, I don't get too sad. And I always try and live by that motto, to kind of keep a level head. And without getting into too much hippie area, there's a chart, and it talks about like aura chart, and love is the highest, and like hatred and envy is the lowest, and where you kind of want to be is like a little bit neutral, which is in the middle, which is a very healthy way. So that's how I kind of try and lead my life and my headspace, just to be a little bit neutral.
When you told me that yesterday, I was like, it clicked. Because I've known you for 3 months now in a bit more of a more personal capacity, training you. Yeah. And I was like, oh, you actually do that. Because like you told me about this guest you had on, or you spoke to this person, or you were at this party and this person was there. And I was like, whoa. And you're like, yeah. And I was like, isn't that like a big deal? Like, and you were very like relaxed about it. So I was like, okay. So it made a lot of sense. And I think it's actually a great way to be.
So if somebody has a little bit of anxiety or, borderline depression, like, what would you say to them? Why should they go to the gym?
The first place to go is if you're in a non-critical stage, because if it's critical stage, obviously you want to be speaking to a health professional ASAP. Yeah. If it's not at the critical stages, but you're noticing some symptoms start to creep up, the gym can create a few things. Obviously, by going through exercise, you're going to sweat. It's going to be an endorphin release. So it's like a chemical reaction that's going to actually have a really positive change chemically. The other thing is the community. And being around like-minded people that are probably there for the same reason. Like the guy that's on the bench next to you that's probably taking too long with the 8-kilo dumbbells that you're about to give a serve to and say, mate, hurry up, finish your set. Yeah. Is probably there because he's not having a good day either, which is probably why you're there. And so sometimes when we kind of break down those walls and we start to get to know people in that space a bit better, you start to realize that we're all kind of there for the same reason. And a lot of like really powerful friendships have actually been formed in the gym. And you know, I've witnessed that so many times. Like I believe some of my clients don't even train with me for me. I think half of them just come because their mate trains with me. So they're just there to see their friends. So yeah, it's like the community and the power of like being around like-minded people who are a little bit more real. And there's levels to the gym world. Like there's very superficial levels, but there's levels to everything.
Yeah.
So like, you know, if you're grounded, a little bit more grounded person, down to earth, a little bit more like not afraid to kind of just show your vulnerabilities. When you start to go into that space in the gym, you'll really start to see a different gym than you will when you like, you walk in the door and you're nice designer this and makeup on and this and that. And you you'll see the superficial level. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like when I've been there for most of my life, it filters down, and like even those people who are a little bit more superficial or come in a little done up are also the ones who are trying to kind of really, you know, run from some demons or find a new space or start a new life, et cetera, et cetera. So I think the gym's like a melting pot for a lot of people to, at some point, come together and help each other out. And that's one of the best things for like, you know, a healthy, natural way to fight depression.
So if anyone's scared of going to the gym?
If anyone's scared of going to the gym, don't be. I think you need to remember that a lot of people, every single person that you see in the gym started the same way.
Yeah.
You know, I still remember when I was scared to go to the gym. Like I trained in my garage and then I went to the gym and that was scary. You know, there's still time.
It can be intimidating.
Yeah, there's still times when I go to certain gyms in Dubai and I feel intimidated. I'm a trainer. Like, yeah, trust me. Like the leagues is always different. There's always a bigger fish. There's always a bigger league. So find a gym that resonates with you. It's got the right ambience. You can generally feel that when you go in.
Yeah.
And then just kind of just get into it. Yeah, don't be scared.
All right. So we're going to do a bit of a rapid fire.
Okay.
Jason, worst workout trend of 2025? We're not off to a good start.
We're not off to a good start. Worst workout trend.
Or let's just say, worst fitness trend. Do you think there is
I'm
one?
not with the trends. This is the problem. You've asked the wrong guy.
Oh my God.
Fitness, I couldn't even tell you.
Okay. I can't even think of one, to be honest.
Because there was a lot of ones during COVID.
Like
I'd see a lot of different weird fitness trends.
Yes.
Now I feel like we've kind of done a loop and things are a little bit more normal. I think in the fitness space, we're probably the most normal we've been. If we look at a fitness trend last year, it was like Liver King.
Oh gosh,
and
yes.
like the carnivore diet, eating meat off the plate. So like that kind of passed, and I feel like we're in a little bit of a lull.
Yes.
It's a breath of fresh air, to be honest. So there's nothing off the top of my head, but yeah. So we're in a good space.
Okay, good.
We can start one now if you want. Try this.
Try the liver. Someone
for
already
abs
did
in 3 minutes.
Most underrated workout move?
The most underrated workout move will definitely be running.
Running.
Yes.
So you're a fan of running?
Yeah, I think running is one of the most effective things you can do, injuries aside, that can help burn calories, get you physically fit, help with cardiovascular health, help with mindset, and it's free.
You know, something a dream of mine has been to run a marathon. But I feel like no.
All right, let's do it. Maz is going to commit to a marathon 2026.
Maybe I realized after I started saying that, I was like, hold on, we can actually actualize this.
This is on video.
Yeah, exactly.
But why not?
I mean, I don't know. I just, like, it's a dream because it just feels impossible.
Okay. I did this thing that every year before I turned when I turned 30, I ran 30 Ks. This year I turned 31, I ran 31 Ks.
So I'm turning 25, so I should run 25
So we need to run 25 Ks. You can start there.
Let's start with a half marathon. Okay, so if you had 30 seconds to give someone a glow up plan, what would you say to them?
I would say to them, strength train 3 times a week, incline walk for 30 to 40 minutes every day, keep carbs till post-workout, try to keep your evening meal minimal, drink 3 liters of water per day, and sleep 6 to 8 hours per night.
Good glow up.
Go.
Yeah. You're like, that's what we have to do.
Simple.
What's a supplement that's actually worth the hype?
Creatine. Creatine is one of the best. Okay, aside from protein powder. Okay. Protein powder is a great way to get in extra protein if you're struggling to eat chicken all the time or you don't like we have a lot of vegetarians that I work with, or vegans, etc. Protein powder is the number one.
Yeah.
But if you want like a little bit more of a controversial, like what is creatine? Creatine is going to be one of the best ways. It helps with strength. It's fine for men and women. It's fine for anyone over the ages of 16 generally.
Yeah.
And it's something you can cycle on and off. It's natural. It's bought over the counter.
It's good for brain health.
It's great for brain health. There's so many studies around it. Take it.
So I'm not really taking creatine now. No. Why is that?
It does create a little bit of water retention.
Okay.
And it's not an issue for us right now, but I think for me, my biggest goal for you has been to see, like, I need to get a buy-in from you. And for buy-in for you is we need to see waist size drop, we need to see pant size changes, we need to see scales drop to a degree, and tomorrow we're going to check your body fat.
We have a weigh-in tomorrow.
Yes, we have a weigh-in tomorrow. So I just wanted to get us down to like our canvas weight.
Okay.
And then I'll start to add in all the tricks where we'll go, okay, let's add in creatine, we're going to build muscle now, etc. So
add in a bit of chocolate.
No.
Okay.
Not yet. Let's see, tomorrow.
Okay. What's your go-to meal when you're too tired to cook but still want to stay fit?
Eggs.
Always.
Eggs every day. Eggs scrambled, eggs fried, eggs, you name it, boiled eggs. Don't eat raw eggs. Don't do that. You don't need to eat raw eggs to be fit and healthy. Don't do that.
That was such an old school thing, right?
It's so pointless, and I love eggs.
Just looks tough though.
It's just so pointless, and it's gnarly. Like,
yeah.
Just there's nothing nice about an egg.
Yeah.
To the
a raw
to
egg.
the esophagus.
Yeah.
It's just not a good time.
I'm gonna start gagging.
yeah. So let's not do that.
Okay.
But definitely eggs.
Eggs. How many eggs do you have?
Okay, so I would have 3 to 4 full eggs a day.
Okay.
And then I would have anywhere from 5 to 8 whites. Just depends on how many eggs are in the fridge.
All together?
If I'm at a restaurant, yeah. Like, so basically...
It's like 12 eggs.
Basically, eggs are such a great way. So people make the mistake of thinking like the full eggs are about 100 calories, 90 calories for a whole egg.
Yeah. Okay.
You can have an egg white for somewhere between like 20 to 30, even a little bit less. The egg whites hold the protein. So this is why people like have an egg white, omelet, etc., etc. Why? Well, because the calories of an egg white omelet's less, and you get more protein.
Oh.
So why waste those calories that you could be having on a Snickers? If you have 10 eggs a day, you're about 1,000 calories in eggs. Or you could have 3 eggs, which is about 300 plus 5 whites. So maybe you're at like, let's say you're at the 400 mark for your eggs. Yeah. And then you've got that 600 left over, which could be a Snickers bar.
Okay.
So don't make the mistake of thinking you need to smash full eggs and too many eggs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many are you having? 10?
I have about 8 to 10.
8 to 10.
Like 4 whole.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a lot of eggs.
It is a lot of eggs.
What's the fitness rule you personally break?
Fitness rule I personally break is going to be...
That you can say on camera.
On camera?
Yes.
It's going to be around, obviously, telling clients to stretch and look after their bodies, and I don't do that.
Yes,
stretching. So like stretching, more recovery. Sleep's the big one, actually.
Yeah.
I tell clients every day sleep. I sleep about 4 hours a night because I have
things to do.
I don't know why. I just end up sleeping 4 hours, and so every day I'm smoked. So the biggest thing I say to people is sleep or it's stretch, and I'm just too much on the go. So this is where I'm trying to work on improving.
Okay. What's a red flag in a personal trainer?
Red flag in personal trainer is somebody that is dictating your goals based on theirs. So they're telling you what you should be doing rather than listening to what you want to be doing. That's a big one. Not paying attention in the sessions or having no idea what you're actually doing. So if your trainer, I've got a rule. If I see a trainer walking around the gym and he asks me to use a machine with me and he doesn't follow a program, I say no. Because I have a structured program. Like I know what we're working on for the day. Like I know what we're trying to do. If somebody, and there's a lot of this in this city in particular, this person's rolled in and they're just going to see whatever machine is next available. So they're moving that person from machine to machine with no real structure. Muscle is built on progression or progressively overloading the muscle. So what we need is to have repetition on the same movements week in, week out. Yeah. So this is the most important thing.
One thing I realized with 365 and with you in particular, Jason, is that there's no judgment. Like there were times I went on holiday and I may have overeaten a little bit. And I remember sending you a voice note saying I overate a little bit. But there's like no judgment. There's no like, you shouldn't be doing this or you shouldn't be doing that. It's not, it's like, it's okay. We'll get back on track. Just eat less in the next meal. And I think that's really stuck with me, and I think that's a green flag.
I think it's a green flag, and I think it's something we do really well, but I think also it's about the person. Yeah. When I worked with you, I got to know your personality a little bit. I did know your personality externally as like a figure in Dubai beforehand, but I didn't know you as on a personal level very well. Obviously through mutual friends, etc.
Yeah.
But I started to kind of understand, and we had a good chat in our first session.
Yeah.
You told me what you weren't happy about with your previous experiences.
Yeah.
So my job was to go, okay, I need to not have this approach with you because it doesn't work. So that's why I've been a little bit more lenient, perhaps, or a little bit more understanding, and to help keep you in the most positive environment as possible. That's not always the case. Some people need a backhand.
Okay.
And like they can handle it or they need it. And I'm not afraid to give that either.
Yeah.
But it's for you, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
For you, it creates resistance. It creates a negative space. You would rather pull away.
Yeah.
The buy-in's gone.
Yeah.
And you're not really interested. So we're back to square one.
Yeah.
So it's like my job is to like
Be
personal
flexible.
training is like, how do I personalize this training for Maz?
Yeah, the photos, sending you photos of food. I was supposed to send photos of food to Jason every day, but yeah.
So basically I have this system where I try to get clients for their first 14 days to send me photos of their food.
Yeah.
I hate it as much as they hate it. I hate looking through every person's meal for 14 days, but it creates a really good relationship between me understanding what Maz's interpretation of the diet is.
Yeah.
So then I can see, okay, this is what I said on paper with 200 grams of chicken, with 200 grams of veggies, with 100 grams of carbs.
Yeah.
And Maz had 200 grams of burger patty with like 40 pickles.
Yeah.
And like, you know, whatever.
It's fine.
You know what I'm saying? And you're like, it's the same, no?
Yeah.
Not that you did that, but
Yeah.
this is to avoid that because she might not have the same picture as me. I had a
Interpretation.
client who was meant to be consuming celery for a snack. He was Spanish. He was smashing about 1 kilo of olives every day. Now, olives and celery have a totally different amount of calories. And he probably wasn't losing as much weight as we could have because of the amount of olives that he was smashing. And obviously olive oil, higher in calories, higher in fats, etc. So the pictures just take away that out of the equation. You failed though.
Yeah.
You didn't send
terribly.
me almost any.
I didn't. I was sending you voice notes.
It was a
instead
voice
of-
note describing the meals. Like, I thought I hated the meal. I hated seeing the photos, but I actually hated even more.
It was like
listening to like a 3-minute note saying, I had this for breakfast with this,
and then
this,
I'm like,
this,
no,
this,
actually, I didn't have that.
Yeah, that was yesterday. I was just like, I don't have a clue what's happening.
You're
But
like, just send me the photo.
yeah, but
of the food.
there was no like, hey, I've gone off the rails. Like, I did this, I did this. That was minimal. And I think that was the best part. And that's why you're looking as good as you are.
Thank you, Jason. And I know that we have a while to go. Tough crowds.
Tough
I mean, I thought I was happy with my shape, but
Not yet.
but honestly, I'm excited to get further into bridal shape, and the experience with 365 with training with you has been the best. I've seen a lot of personal trainers in Dubai, let me tell you. 11 years of being in Dubai, I've done transformation programs before, but there's a way that you approach the training and the transformation, which I think is very, very unique. And it's non-judgmental. It's like, it's just changed the way I look at food, my relationship with food and with fitness. And nothing has worked before. I know I have an incentive now and most brides do, but nothing's worked before. But honestly, your approach has been amazing.
Amazing. We love having you with us. So.
Maybe in the last few weeks, I might stick to just cheese and broccoli.
Let's see. Yeah, we'll come back
Or
to that.
Ozempic.
We're gonna capture that last statement. That was so beautiful in 3 months' time and see how you really feel when I put you through phase 2.
Exactly.
After tomorrow's training. Stay tuned.
Let's see. Thank you, Jason.
Thanks
It's been
for
a
having me.
pleasure. And if anyone wants to join 365, where do they get in touch with
You
you?
can reach out on either my personal IG at Jason Grima or at Team365DXB, and our website is www.team365dxb.me.
Jason, such a pleasure.
Thank you.